Welcome back to the series, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the Home Story Cup 9 European qualifiers, and it wouldn't be Europe if it didn't involve a little bit of Poland. Spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, playing for Millennium, it's the purple Terran player, DieStar. Probably my favorite personally in the series, but his opponent in the top right from Cascade, it is the blue Protoss, DaddyForte. Now, I had some cool stuff explained to me by the Polish caster Emil while we were waiting for this crazy, weird, awkward downtime. DaddyForte and DieStar apparently used to be pretty big rivals back at Wings of Liberty. DaddyForte then got married and had a family or something and stopped playing StarCraft 2. Came back to playing a little while ago, and he's been playing for quite a bit of time since. So he's definitely up to snuff as far as playing against DieStar. I checked out a bit of his records. He's got a lot of green on that win page for the ladder. And, pardon me. He should be well met here versus DieStar, who... I love DieStar. His TVT is pretty darn good. His TVZ is not too shabby, but I think like most Terrans, his versus Protoss might not be his favorite matchup right now. That being said, just because it's not your favorite matchup doesn't mean you're not going to be good at it. I already like the way DaddyForte started this off, by the way, guys. Placing the gateway back here, this is like anti-Reaper tactics. Rarely do we see players go for more than one Reaper in TVP anymore. Once upon a time, though, back to the days of old, the Star Station maps, we would see players like Polt go like 5 Reapers at a time. And QXC, of course, did that in the beta and really popularized it. But nowadays, it's pretty much the one Reaper. It tries to scout, and if it can, it ducks behind the mineral line to pick off a probe or two. By putting the gateway over here, and most likely either the Cyber Core or the Robo or whatever his additional tech structure is over here later, he'll completely wall out Reapers from being able to do anything in this base. In fact, Pylon's probably going to come down here shortly. He's getting pretty hardcore supply blocked. DaddyForte. Oh, it's coming over here. Right. So already on the way. This other pylon too, by the way, incredibly important, equally so, as it will provide the scouting information for the Reapers will come up or down this ramp. Well, I guess whether they go up or down the ramp or jump up over here, as this is the more common location. I'm going to tab out and try and do something here real quick, guys. Alright, so I just tried to message Golden on Skype. I'm not sure if this will work or not. I basically said, let's take TV or someone forces you to cast. Can you try holding your next match for me, please? I don't know if he'll say yes, and if this series takes too long, I'll understand why he might not want to, but... Ooh, first blood. If Golden's cool, he will, and if he's not, he won't. Bottom line. Golden's actually a really, really nice guy, so I don't know if he'll necessarily go out of his way to wait or not, but fingers are crossed that he will. Actually, hang on. Sorry, I can't type and talk at the same time. Not very well, not very efficiently. So, the request is out there, and hopefully it will get heard. Regardless, DieStar's actually putting in a lot of barracks right now. This is not absolutely necessary, because a lot of the times, one of the reasons you would make this many barracks in the first place is because you haven't got the reactor, and you need to make 3 Marines at a time. But with the tech lab coming down on one, it'll probably be a tech lab coming down on the other. And if he's going to be able to produce double Marauders, it's going to be really... Yep, there we go. Really scary for a player like DaddyForte. We've seen a lot of sort of early aggression at Terran players become a big part of the game. And one of the biggest, I guess, meta games, or however you want to phrase it, is like the idea of, like, you know, you come with that charge, you force out the overcharge, you back away, you use your follow-up drop to try and drop to the main, because you know there won't be an overcharge there. But more often than not, a player may end up actually finding that they've got so much that the overcharge won't stop them, and they can run past it and go to the main. There's not a lot of sentries often involved in this matchup, but when they are, it makes it really difficult. Hang on, guys. One sec. Okay, so here's the bottom line, because I know a lot of you guys went Yoda versus either Jonah or sorry, it's either Yoda or Jonah versus Golden. I don't want to leave this series early if I can avoid it, and he said he'll try to wait, but his opponent might not want to, and there's also the chance Take TV may want to cast it as well. So Golden will do what he can. Hopefully, fingers are crossed, we'll be able to catch that series after this. I'm sorry for getting distracted so much in this game. It's really, this is why I love usually having a co-caster, because I can be like, yo, Zombie Grub, go do this thing while I'm talking to casting. Alright, starting down the front lines though with these Marines and these Marauders. Again, this is definitely going to try and get that overcharge. Might snipe on. But with so many sentries available, he actually is forced to back away from this. Again, sometimes the Terran player will see the opportunity to run up that ramp, but what he doesn't see, and what he won't see actually because the Reaper died, is all this tech. And most importantly about this tech, we got the Robo, we got the Robo Bay, and soon to be Colossus coming out. For a long time, if you fast forward back to say December, November of last year, a lot of the Protoss versus Terran mentality was like, you know, you get the fast charge, you go for armor upgrades, you get some storms mixed into the lot, and it wrecked a lot of Terran players for a while. The metagame shifted quite a bit since then, and I keep saying metagame, I don't mean to say metagame, I'm sorry, but the strategy has shifted a lot since then. Now Faster Colossus, which used to be the thing to do back at Wings of Liberty, has kind of come back into play in a very large manner, because you're able to sit back and get these. Without the overcharge, normally that's not the case. You're not able to push out, or defend rather, and it's never fun to deal with a lot of Terran bio right outside your front door. So once he gets the Colossus out, maybe he'll be alright, but it's not going to be out just yet. And there's a second overcharge, but they're going to go for the fight this time. He gets a lot of these units stuck in the force fields, forcing him to actually fight. But backing away once again, and DieStar, because he went for these earlier barracks guys, his starport is so late. Like, this push takes out 2 overcharges, but it also forced him to stim. Now again, I don't know if he knows about the Colossus or not. Yeah, he doesn't know about the Colossus still. It only just came out after he retreated, so a little unfortunate in that regard. But even with 1 or 2 Colossus, an extended thermal lance is being chrono boosted out, guys. It's worth noting, Marauders just deal so much damage, and they fire so fast with that stim pack that, you know, the Colossus sometimes don't matter if there's only 2 of them in play. 3 sometimes is where it gets a little bit scary, and of course if you got 4, Bio's not going to touch you. Not with extended thermal lance and charge lots underneath you. It's not going to be charge lots just yet, but eventually, because it's what you need to deal with Bio, otherwise Zealots are just absolutely garbage. But that's a lot at home for DieStar, and while he's only just now getting his first medevacs out, he's got a lot of actual units available to him. Something, again, that you usually find yourself a little short of. Obviously doesn't have the eagle eyes, otherwise you could see the observer. It's actually pretty well hidden there. That blur. Actually, it's weird. There's some players who, they will use this sort of zoom in trick, I guess, to see the blurred observer, but I think for the most part, like, you watch players like Jockshi or Hart. Hart is so good at this, by the way. They don't even need to. They just see, like, the map looks slightly distorted, and they scan immediately. Bam, instant observer kill. But, oh man, I wish DieStar had seen these observers, because this is so many Marauders that gets revealed. Like, 22 Marines isn't a big deal. You're like, okay, they got Marines, whatever. But Marauders, oh god, Marauders, what you have to look out for. 3 at a time, and this is going to hurt. Stalkers aren't going to stand a chance, and there's going to be so many concussive shells firing off that these Zealots will not connect even with charge. They don't have charge, but even with charge, they'd struggle to connect to this army. So without it, it becomes even worse. Just while we wait for the fight to engage, to those of you who are addressing the zombie group thing, she's playing in a tournament today, guys. That's why she's not casting. She's playing in that ESL female-only tournament, and she better win it, because she's pretty darn good. Anyways, does take his third base here, does DaddyForte, so we don't have to worry about this being like a super duper all-in move by any means, but DieStar, you know, is going for the drop. Gets thwarted. We got Stalkers with Blink on the way, and we don't see any Vikings. Like, he's starting to produce them now, but normally you want to have like 2 factories or 2 starports producing crazy Vikings. Good force fields go down at DaddyForte. This is going to cost so many of the Marauders their lives, but as he gets here to the main, he gets on top of the Stalkers, stims, tries to kill these so he can get out of here with the medevac alive. Of course, you just need to pick up the Stalker so you can lift up, but the army unfortunately disengages. He had no medevacs to save that other one. Actually, forced overcharge goes down. But the Colossus are in the numbers of 4, and this is when it gets scary, where you can segment off 2 at a time, where you don't have to worry about under-splitting or over-splitting your army. Back here towards the south, DieStar's got quite a few Widow Mines up as well. These are going to be so good for the Zealots. We've actually been seeing players sort of shy of using these. If you watch and follow the pro players, especially the Koreans a lot, guys, there was a time, especially right near that patch when they hit, when they were talking about how good Widow Mines are, how they're broken, how they can't use them. What the Widow Mines are best utilized for are for, like, instant burrow to deal with the Zealots. If you try and walk them up to Colossus, the Colossus will fire them down. The range of the Colossus is too big. The Widow Mines won't even get a chance to burrow. But they'll take out the Zealots 1 shot at a time. They'll deal a ton of splash damage, and you can certainly basically get rid of that buffer that so many Protoss players are used to having. Nice, Widowmine hit goes off, takes out a lot of the shields of the ones nearby, but these force fields are going to keep DieStar from really being able to push in here. The Vikings, unfortunately, are being focused down, but 2 hallucinated Colossus do not an army make. DieStar has pulled quite a few SCVs with this too, so I mean, this is about as all in as it gets. He's called the boys, he's rallied them from home, and looks like he's going in hard. He wants to end the game with this move. Gets on top of the Colossus, he scans the fakes, he knows which one is real, continues to push forward, even takes out the hallucinations, because you know why the hell not? With 1 Colossus remaining, I don't know if DaddyForte can hold this. There's no overcharge for this Nexus. There's only a couple force fields remaining, and the SCVs are on the wrong side of this fight. They need to be on the front lines. Vikings get back into this, start shelling away at the Colossus, but the longer that he sits behind this, ooh, I didn't realize he retained so many Widowmines. These Stalkers are about to get wrecked by those Widowmine hits, as we see. Now with only 1 Colossus remaining, he stems back on top of it. Another one's rushing to come out, but to no avail, because this is going to get focused down by the Marauders, the same ones that just killed the other Colossus. There might not be a lot of Vikings left, but the Marauders will get the job done. This base is left to be attacked by SCVs? Okay, they're going to be Ghetto Zerglings, I guess, but he fights within the Warpins, and this is a big mistake because the Zealots can wreck what he has left. This is all in at a DieStar. There is no round 2. He needs to pick up with these Marauders and back on out of this fight, or at least start kiting. There we go, because sitting there to fight was not going to be the answer. Widowmines coming forward will kill the Zealots, but I don't know if DieStar's got enough punch left in this army. In fact, actually, SCVs are still on the front line. He could send these back home to start mining and try and recover. It's weird to consider, but that's definitely the case. A couple of Widowmine hits are going to go off and start taking out these Zealots, which means the Stalkers have to stay back as well. He tries to blink and juke, but it's not going to be enough. Now the new Colossus is about to come out, and there's just not enough ground forces left. Is there an observer in play? There's 2 observers on the map. Where are they? Both on the other side of the map. So actually, he's got no way to detect the Widowmines. Oh, but the new Colossus comes out, and DieStar has to worry about this quite heavily. Could possibly just pick up and go towards the 3rd again, maybe finish it off. He never did finish this, as the SCVs didn't quite hold in the end. But Templar be warped in, and there's no storms available. Oh my god. Here we go. Here's the observer. These Widowmines have got to start getting out of here unless you scan it and see it. Unfortunately, a little bit too late to the party. Widowmines do not have those tunneling claws, and he's going to get another shot off on the Stalkers, but DieStar is in such a bad spot. Down to 4 workers. He's trying to make up the difference with mules. He's not producing more SCVs, guys. Every bit of minerals he gets goes towards the army, and there's no Vikings in play. He's got to deal with an Archon, which seems impossible. He's got to deal with charge lots. Without those Widowmines, seems impossible. This is really down to the wire, and these medevacs, actually, he can't even blink away, or he can't even pick up and get away. The blink will be too strong. Marauders are caught. GG is called. DaddyForte will take game number 1 in this best of 3.